don't know about y'all, but 2026 is looking really good for horror. And I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like horror movies lately have been struggling to actually scare me. Like, I'll watch a trailer and I'm already like, okay, so that's the monster, that's the twist, it's probably who's gonna die. And then I watch the movie and realize I basically already watched it. I want something that's actually gonna make me uncomfortable, something that has me sitting in the dark like, why did I decide to watch this by myself? And there are 3 movies that are coming out this year that I'm looking at like, okay, you might actually scare me. One is giving us a completely different perspective on the Resident Evil universe. One is taking something as innocent as your mom and turning it into something terrifying. And the other one is taking us back into the further. Except this time, I'm not sure the further is staying where it's supposed to. So today, I'm counting down my 3 most anticipated horror movies of 2026. And trust me, I have a feeling my number 1 is going to be the one that really gets people talking. So let's get into it. Welcome back to Real Good Talk. If this is your first time here, we talk about movies, TV shows, horror, theories, it includes endings and all those moments where you're sitting here saying, wait, what just happened? So if this is your kind of thing, you're definitely in the right place. And if you enjoy videos like this, subscribe and stick around because we've got a lot more to talk about. Now, let's get into it. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard about another Resident Evil movie, I was like, okay, here we go again, because we've had a few different versions of Resident Evil on the big screen, but what caught my attention about this one was how they're approaching the story. This movie is basically giving us the perspective of the person who normally is just in the background. Think about playing the games. You're Leon, you're Jill, you're Claire, you're Chris, you're the main character. And while you're running around trying not to get eaten, shot, infected, or all 3, there's all these random people around you. The police officer, the survivor, the person running down the street, the person who clearly has no idea what's happening. And you usually don't think twice about them. But this movie is basically saying, what if that person was the main character? And honestly, I really like that. Y'all know I like my what ifs, because imagine experiencing a Resident Evil outbreak. We don't know what a licker is. You don't know what a tyrant is. You don't know there's some giant monster around the corner. You just know people are running around and something very, very wrong is going on. That's a complete different kind of horror. It's almost like Cloverfield in that you're experiencing the chaos as a regular person instead of someone who actually knows what's going on. And that's what I'm hoping this movie leans into, because the new story follows Brian. He's a medical courier whose night turns into a fight for survival. And Zach Krieger is directing this new take on the franchise. And if you know Zach Krieger from Barbarian, you already know I'm interested in what he can do with the horror mystery. But here's what I'm watching for. Does this actually feel like a survival horror? Because I don't need another Resident Evil movie that's just boom, zombie, boom. You know, give me intense. Give me that feeling that our character has no idea what's coming next. Because if we're really getting the Resident Evil experience from the NPC's point of view, I think that could be a really cool thing. And that's why it's on my list. But it's number 3, because number 2, yeah, this one might actually get under my skin. Okay, Other Mommy. First of all, who came up with that title? Because if a child wakes up to me and says, Mommy, who's the other mommy? I'm leaving the house. We're selling it. We're moving. I'm done. But seriously, this premiere, really creepy. The movie follows an 8-year-old girl named Bella who encounters an entity that looks and sounds like her mother. Jessica Chastain stars in the film, which is based on Josh Mallerman's incidents around the house. And here's why I think this could be scary. It's not just a monster. It's a monster that can potentially become someone you trust. If I see some creepy creature standing at the end of my hallway, I know what it is. Cool. I'm terrified, but I know the enemy. Now imagine you're 8 years old, you're in your room, you hear, Bella, it's Mom. So you walk out and Mom is standing there, same face, same voice, same everything, but something feels wrong. Now what? You have to figure out, is that actually my mother? And if it isn't, where's my real mother? Now that is horror. And honestly, it kind of gives me Coraline vibes, and I loved Coraline. Imagine if the other mother was actually terrifying. And that's what makes this concept so creepy to me, because your home is supposed to be your safe space. Your mother is supposed to be your safe person. So if something can take that face, where do you go? That's what I want this movie to explore. And I really hope they don't over explain the creature. I don't need a 10-minute scene telling me exactly what it is, where it came from, and why it chose Bella. Like, let me be confused, because sometimes not knowing is what makes something scary. And if this movie can make me walk away thinking, wait, was that actually her? Then they did a really good job. So yeah, Other Mother is my number 2. And if you're still here, you clearly like the kind of horror that makes you think about what you just watched after the credits roll. So definitely stick around because that's exactly the kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about here. But now, number 1, and this one is the one I'm probably most curious about. Insidious, Out of the Further. This one is my number 1, and honestly, it's because of one thing: the concept. We've already spent multiple movies learning about the Further. We know it's the supernatural realm filmed with spirits and entities, and normally the danger is you go there. But this movie is flipping that idea because now we're asking what happens when something from the Further comes back with you. Okay, so now I'm interested. And the timing of this is actually perfect because it comes out this Friday, August 21st. So by the time you're watching this video, I might have already been on my way to the theater. And yes, I know I waited a little too long to get this video out, but honestly, it just means I don't have to wait very long to find out if this movie is actually as good as I'm hoping it will be. Because the question isn't what happens if I go into the Further, it's what happens if the Further comes to me. Think about it like this: the Further is basically like a door. Normally the door is closed, you don't open it, you don't go through it, problem solved, right? But now imagine finding out the door doesn't lock and whatever is on the other side knows how to open it. That's creepy. That's scary. And it reminds me a little bit of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Not because they're the same story, but because the threat isn't something you can simply outrun. It's something that can follow you. And that is what I want from this movie. I want the Further to feel like less like a location and more like a threat. If something from the Further can cross over, your house isn't safe anymore, your bedroom isn't safe, your car isn't safe, nowhere's really safe. And that's a much scarier idea to me than just there's another demon. You've seen demons, we've seen demons. Give me new rules. Give me something that changes how we understand the Further. And the fact that Ellis is returning makes me even more interested because she's actually understands the Further and what these entities are capable of. So I'm really hoping this movie expands the mythology inside of just giving us another haunted house story, because if the boundary between our world and the Further is actually breaking down, that's something I want to see. I'm going to come back and give you a full review of what I thought worked, what didn't work, whether it actually scared me, and most importantly, whether this movie deserves to be my number 1. All right, so there you have it. My number 3 is the Resident Evil. I'm interested in this NPC perspective. I really hope the movie gives me what I'm looking for. My number 2, Other Mother. Something pretending to be your mother? Absolutely not. The Coraline comparison had me even more curious. And number 1, Insidious, Out of the Further. The Further coming to us instead of us going to it. Yeah, but I'm gonna watch it. That's my list. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your most anticipated horror movie in 2026 in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, theories, thoughts, and breakdowns, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We've got a lot more to talk about. And remember, I'm seeing Insidious, Out of the Further this Friday, so I'll be back to give you my full review. Remember, every great story deserves a real good talk. I'll see y'all in the next one.